Over the last 2 weeks on this channel, we have covered 8 different ETFs. In today's video, I want to do something that I haven't done before. I want to rank every single ETF that we talked about from the worst to the best, looking at the S tier all the way to that C tier, real verdicts, no diplomacy, every single ETF based on one simple question. Would I put real money into this ETF today, and how much? So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, before I give you the ranking, I want to tell you exactly how we're allocating these ETFs. 4 criteria, really equal weighting on all of them. The first one being the long-term track record. When we look at investing, we're talking about a 5, 10 plus year time frame. What it has actually done over that time. Number 2, the expense ratio. When it comes to the expense ratio, it does a lot more than people think, especially when you're looking at that 20 to 30 year hold period. Number 3, the role clarity. Does this ETF know exactly what it does, and what does it do exceptionally well? And the final one, the size appropriation. If in really looking at this ETF, should investors go in here? What actual percentages should they have? Every ETF gets a grade, so let's go ahead and get into this. To start off in the C tier, we're looking at the DRAM. This is the Round Hill Memory ETF, and I want to be crystal clear, this is not a bad ETF at all. The AI memory thesis is very real. We've talked about it multiple times, but a C tier rating does not mean you need to avoid this ETF. It means to proceed with eyes open, and honestly, you shouldn't hold it for anything other than a tiny satellite position, and here's why. When we break down this ETF, 73% is in 3 specific stocks. When you start looking at a 2-month track record, we don't have any history on it. 0.65 expense ratio, so a little bit higher. $4.28 billion single quarter loss at SpaceX level when we look at this memory cycle, and it is very cyclical, and 151% 8 weeks, which is crazy. Not a reason to really go in and buy it, but you have to know that it is a reason to take caution. When you look at the DRAM, it really gains, and it is in the C tier because of the risk that it does show. Meaningful allocation, and again, thinking long-term wealth, 2 to 5% at an absolute max. On top of everything else that is on this list, this is not going to be the foundation. This is not going to be a large holding. Then we get into the B tier. We have 2 ETFs in here. The first one is going to be the QTUM, which is the Defiance Quantum Computing ETF. It's not a higher tier because the quantum thesis probably is about 5 to 10 year, I would say, the horizon. So if you're owning it right now, it is one you're going to go ahead and you're going to run and hold for a long time. The government just validated with a $2 billion federal funding, which I love, meaning it is very real, it is very significant, but it still does have that 0.40 expense ratio. And looking at a plus 85% gain in the last 12 months, absolutely extraordinary. Again, when we start looking at these satellite positions, no more than 5% is going into here. B tier, great satellite, but definitely not a core. Then the SCHD, I am also going to put into this B tier. And guys, I want to hear it in the comments. SCHD is one of the most beloved ETFs that we have in the market. This community and a lot of people love it. 3.61% yield, 11 to 12% annual growth, which is pretty good when it comes to dividends. Battle tested through multiple ups and downs. But here's the honest issue. The SCHD has returned 57% over the last 5 years. When we look in comparison to the VIG, which is at 75%, that's a 17% gap over 5 years. Very significant, and a lot of people have dropped the position they have in the SCHD. Really, with the underexposure to technology, we're not seeing the growth, and it earns the B tier because honestly, it is for a very specific investor, someone who is near the income phase or getting into retirement or in retirement. For an investor like you and I that are in the accumulation phase with 10 plus years, there are much, much better options when we look at the A tier and this S tier. Now the A tier, I'm going to allocate 3 ETFs in here. Number 1 being the VIG. This is the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation. And really in this A tier, 1.58% yield, which grows into something meaningful over time. Because when we look at 10 consecutive years, 75% return in the last 5, 0.04 expense ratio, which is incredibly low. One of the cheapest dividend ETFs that we see in the marketplace today. Gold Morningstar medalist rating. VIG earns the A tier because of the income layer that it provides. Long-term durability and duration when it comes to investing. Income is reliable. The quality is exceptional. The cost and really the expense ratio, very, very negligible. So why not the S tier? It is because of the 1.58 current yield. Not useful at all for dividend investors. It requires patience which a lot of investors might not have. Now, next in the A tier is the SMH, one of my absolute favorite. This is the Span X Semiconductor ETF, and honestly, 30.9 utilization over the last 10 years, which is insane. 68% year to date in 2026 with $58 billion in here. This is semiconductors are looking at a probably 15 plus year track record going through multiple cycles. They know exactly what it's doing, a 0.35. So still a very low expense ratio when it comes to these ETFs. Why not in the S tier? It is the sector contribution. Now, of course, these can be very cyclical. The SMH can experience a 20, 30, even 40% pullback in those down cycles. Volatility keeps it out of that top S tier, but investors long-term, honestly, absolutely extraordinary. Own it, size it right in the portfolio depending on your risk. Me personally, I have it at 15%. Then we look at the SPMO. This is the Invesco S&P 500 Momentum ETF. This is the final one in that A tier, my largest individual position, which I hold at 30% of my real portfolio if you caught the video. Really good silver Morningstar rating in there. Captures 112% of the S&P 500 gains with only 85% of the losses. So we're seeing much higher highs, not as low lows, which is kind of crazy. And I love the reconstitution mechanic this have. Makes it really self-correcting, a 0.13 expense ratio. So very, very cheap to own. So you might ask yourself, why not in the S tier? It is the reconstitution timing risk, 44% technology concentration after the rebalance. And of course, for a lot of investors, it takes patience, high conviction, comfortability with the volatility we see in the market. A tier is excellent for the right investors, not S tier because it requires more understanding and patience to hold this for an extended amount of time. Then we get into the final tier, guys. This is going to be 2 ETFs in this S tier. There are only 2 in this entire list without any qualifications to every investor in the marketplace, regardless of the age, the income, the time horizon, or your risk tolerance. You should have some exposure to these ETFs. The first one is going to be the QQQM. This is the Invesco NASDAQ 100. It is the 100 largest non-financial companies on the NASDAQ. You're talking Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Meta, and of course, in the next 15 days, it's going to include SpaceX. These companies have driven the majority of the market and really equity that we've seen over the last 15 plus years. 0.15 expense ratio, so very, very low. And this is the retail-friendly version of the QQQ. Seen the commercials, caught them on TV. Year to date in 2026, it's been doing incredibly well. And the reason why it comes in that S tier over the A is if you're looking at investors that have a 10-year plus time horizon, heavy technology exposure, and not a concentration risk as much, it has a really good, strong growth mechanism. And as the world has become more technologically dependent every single year, the QQQM has that direct link to it. Very, very low cost and can compound over an extended amount of time. And the final one, the top tier we're putting in this S tier, is the VOO, guys. This is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. $1.6 trillion in assets with a 0.03 expense ratio. That means you're paying 3 cents for every $100. 806% total return since 2020, or excuse me, since 2010. Think about that. For the last 16 years, we are looking at an 806% return. Currently at all-time highs again. When we look at the 5-year total return, 92%, so almost doubling your money in those 5 years. And honestly, guys, everything else exists on this list because of the VOO. It has done a majority of the heavy lifting throughout the years. The SCHD might make sense alongside the VOO. SPMO makes sense right on top of that VOO, getting the concentration and focus on those 100 with the most momentum in there. The DRAM makes sense as that satellite position, looking out and extending past the VOO. But the VOO is the foundation. A lot of people do use this as the core, including myself. And even though the top tier is not very exciting, it is the foundation. It is the most effective vehicle that we've seen for building long-term wealth, and really the existence of the history of the ETF industry. Every other ETF on this list is probably optional. The VOO, I would say, is not at all. So the final tier list, guys, S tier, the VOO, QQQM, absolutely. The A tier, we have the VIG, the SMH, and the SPMO. B tier, we get into the SCHD and the QTUM, the QTUM. And then the C tier, we're putting the DRAM just because, again, that's an ETF we don't have much history about. And I fully expect you guys to disagree. Let me know down below, especially on the SCHD or the DRAM. depending where they are. That's the whole point of the tier list. Ranking it forces a real conversation down in the comments, and these generational and really these ETFs overview, no one ever agrees in them in the entirety. So drop a comment down below, guys, looking at this tier list. Is there something that I ranked wrong? Is there something you'd move, and exactly why? I genuinely want to know, because the best arguments I address, and I do some of these as a follow-up video as people are asking. And if you want me to keep building these real portfolios every week, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.